Good day, everyone. We are the reporters in the subject Gender and Society. Allow us to introduce ourselves.
My name is Joy and Montoya.
And my name is Ivan J. T. Montoya.
We are so excited to talk about our report today. So without further ado, let's begin.
So what is gender role? A gender role is a set of behavioral norms associated particularly with males or females in a given social groups or system, often including the division of labor between men and women and the attendant complex of child rearing and socialization processes, leading youth towards maturing to perpetuate the same pattern. For example, girls and women are generally expected to dress in typically feminine ways and to be polite, accommodating, and nurturing. Men, on the other hand, are generally expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. Every society, ethnic group, and culture has general expectations, but they can be very different from the group to group. Gender roles traditionally were often divided into distinct feminine and masculine gender roles, until especially the 20th century when those roles diversified into many different acceptable male or female roles in modernized countries throughout the world. The flux in gender roles in modern societies plays against the biological governance of the women as the bearer of the child, and is one of the factors contributing to the low rates of birth in countries ranging from Germany to Japan. Within the family in modern societies, there remains considerably flux, reflecting the continued confusion about such lifestyle issues as marriage partners, sexual love, and the structure of the family. Establishing stable, peaceful, and happy societies in the 20th century will require new thinking about gender roles that accords priority to the family, raising up balanced children from the both masculine and feminine strength of their parents.
Theories of gender role. 19th century anthropology sometimes used descriptions of the imagined of life of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies for evolutionary explanations of gender differences. For example, these accounts maintain the need to take care of offspring, may have limited females' freedom to hunt and assume positions of power. Gender role theory posits that boys and girls learn the appropriate behavior and attitudes from the family with which they grow up. This teaches their children that the expected rules for men and women require the father to work and the mother to remain in the domestic sphere. Simon Baron Cohen, a Cambridge University professor of psychology and psychiatry, has said that the female brain is predominantly hardwired for empathy, while the male brain is predominantly hardwired for understanding and building systems. He suggests that the parenting styles of boys and girls are different because their brains are hardwired differently. Parenting styles do not socialize male and female behavior. Parenting styles are instead a consequence of the male and female brain. The trend in Western societies toward men and women sharing similar occupations and responsibilities demonstrates the adaptability of both men and women to perform a variety of tasks.
Socialization, the process through which the individual learns and accepts roles, is called socialization. Socialization works by encouraging wanted and discouraging unwanted behavior. This sanctioned by agencies of socialization, such as family, schools, and the communication medium, make it clear to the child what behavioral norms that child is expected to follow. The example of the child's parents, siblings, and teachers are typically followed. Interacting with friends and family, being told to obey rules, being rewarded for doing chores, and being taught how to behave in public places are all examples of socialization that enables a person to function within his or her culture. In the majority of the traditional and developmental social systems, an individual has a choice as to what extent he or she becomes a conformed representative of a socialization process. In this voluntary process, the consequences can be beneficial or malfunctional, minor or severe for every case, by a behavior socialization influence, forming gender roles or expectation, institutionalizing gender differences.
Culture and gender rule. The practice of medicine was generally seen as a male prerogative. However, in Russia, healthcare was more often seen as a feminine rule. The result of these views can still be seen in modern society, where European medicine is most often practiced by men, and the majority of Russian doctors are women. In many other cases, the elements of convention or tradition seem to play a dominant role in deciding which occupations fit in with which gender roles. Throughout history, some jobs that have been typically male or female have switched genders. For example, clerical job used to be considered a man's job, but when several women began filling men's job positions due to World War II, clerical jobs quickly became dominated by women.
Gender role and feminism. Most feminists have argued that traditional gender roles are oppressive for women. They believe that the female gender role was constructed as an opposite to an ideal male role and helps to perpetuate patriarchy. Furthermore, there has been a perception of Western culture in recent times that the female gender role is dichotomized into either being a stay-at-home mother or a career woman. In reality, usually face a double burden: the need to balance occupations and childcare deprives women of spare time, whereas the majority of men with university educations have a career as well as a family. Only 50% of academic women have children.
Homosexuality and gender rule. Same-sex domestic partners also challenge traditional gender rules because it is impossible to divide up household responsibilities along gender lines if both partners attempt to fill some gender role. Like all live-in couples, same-sex partners usually do come to some arrangement with regard to household responsibilities. Sometimes, this arrangement assigns traditional female responsibilities to one partner and traditional male responsibilities to other. But non-traditional divisions of labor are also quite common. For instance, cleaning and cooking, traditionally both female responsibilities, might be assigned to different people. Cross-dressing is also common in gay and lesbian culture, but it is usually restricted to festive occasions, though there are people of all sexual orientations who routinely engage in various types of cross-dressing, either as a fashion statement or for entertainment. Distinctive styles of dress, however, are commonly seen in gay and lesbian circles. These fashions sometimes emulate the traditional styles of the opposite gender. For example, lesbians who wear t-shirts and boots instead of skirts and dresses, or gay men who wear clothing with traditional feminine elements including displays of jewelry or coloration. But others do not fashion choices also do not necessarily align with other elements of gender identity. Some fashion and behavior elements in gay and lesbian culture are novel and do not really correspond to any traditional gender rules. For example, the popularity of rainbow jewelry.
Types of gender role. Gender roles are a specific set of social and behavioral actions which are considered to be appropriate for the given gender. The concept of gender roles has been developed from the work of Caroline Moser. She explains these concepts as follows. Gender planning recognizes that in most society, low-income women have a triple role. Women undertake reproductive, productive, and community managing activities, while men primarily undertake productive and community politics activities. First, reproductive role. Childbearing, rearing responsibilities, and domestic tasks done by women, required to guarantee the maintenance and reproduction of the labor force. It includes not only biological production, but also the care and maintenance of the workforce, which are male partner and working children, and the future workforce, which are infants and school-going children. Second, productive role. Work done by both men and women for pay in cash or kind. It includes both market production with an exchange value and subsistence or home production with actual use value and also potential exchange value. For women, in agricultural production, it includes work as independent farmers, peasant wives, and wage workers. Third, community managing role. Activities undertaken primarily by women at the community level as an extension of the reproductive role to ensure the provision and maintenance of scarce resources of collective consumption, such as water, health, care, and education. This is voluntary and paid work, undertaken in free time. Fourth, community politics role. Activities undertaken primarily by men at the community level, organizing at the formal political level, often within the framework of national politics. This is usually paid works, either directly or indirectly through status power. Fifth, multiple roles. Both men and women play multiple roles. The majority differences, however, is that men typically play their roles sequentially, focusing on a single productive role, while women must usually play the role simultaneously, balancing the demands of each within limited time constraints.
We sincerely appreciate that we had this chance to report to you.
We'd like to thank you for watching and listening to us today.
We hope that you learned something from our report. Thank you and God bless.